His wife left for a business trip, but he caught her kissing another man in a nightclub. What he did next shattered her dreams. Ethan, the husband, a quiet, successful architect, and Clara, the wife, a high-powered, often absent marketing executive. Clara announces a crucial business trip to a distant city. Ethan, feeling a familiar pang of loneliness, accepts it. Ethan has a strange, persistent gut feeling this time. It's not just loneliness. It's unease. Small, ignored details, a new perfume, a sudden change in her phone password, an overly affectionate, almost guilty farewell, a last-minute work emergency for Ethan, or a plausible, fabricated one, takes him to the same city as Clara. The irony is crushing. Ethan decides to surprise Clara at her supposed hotel. The desk tells him she never checked in. Immediate emotional drop. Using a location feature, or a trace of a check-in on social media he hadn't noticed before. He locates her at a trendy downtown nightclub. He sees her, not in a suit, but a party dress. And she's not alone. She is kissing another man. Ethan slips away unseen. He spends the night walking, driving, or sitting in a cheap motel room. This is where the audience reflects with him. Intercut their history, their wedding, their shared dreams. The gradual shift where career eclipses partnership. He has two options: explode in anger, the easy way, or execute a calculated, soul-shattering response, the path of the story. He chooses the latter, recognizing that his value isn't tied to her mistake. Clara returns, glowing and full of feigned fatigue and apologies for long hours. Ethan is calm, almost eerily so. Ethan doesn't yell. He speaks softly, clinically. He lays out his evidence, the hotel confirmation, the photo video he took, or the testimony of his eyes. The full truth of her business trip. He presents divorce papers, meticulously fair but decisive, splitting assets but crucially removing her from their shared dream. Project, e.g., a huge architectural firm they built or a property. Development that was her future. Security. He hasn't told the world, but he has quietly informed key stakeholders in her world that the partnership, marriage, is dissolving due to irreconcilable differences, involving a breach of trust. Enough to make her professional reputation temporarily toxic in their close circle. The story culminates as Clara realizes the extent of his action. It's not about the money. It's the loss of the carefully constructed future and reputation she prioritized over him. This shatters her confidence and her dream. Clara's desperation. She begs, she cries. She blames him for being too focused on work, the classic deflection. Ethan remains firm. The action was hers, the consequence is shared. Ethan's healing. He begins to reclaim his life. He finds purpose in his work, but more importantly, in himself. He realizes he was in love with a future that never existed. You've heard the cliché, a perfect life, a perfect lie. For Ethan, the first part was certainly true. He had the penthouse, the successful architectural practice, the wife, Clara, a force of nature in the corporate world. From the outside, their life was a masterpiece of modern success. But look closer. Look at the two people in that expensive apartment, holding hands over a glass of vintage wine. They weren't connecting. They were performing. They were two CEOs in a joint venture, and the product they were selling to the world was their perfect marriage. And the simple truth? Their marriage was bankrupt. But you don't file for divorce just because you're lonely. You need a trigger, a flashpoint. And that flashpoint, that came with a business trip, a crucial, must-attend summit in a city 3 states away. When Clara kissed him goodbye that morning, she said, "I love you. Wish me luck." And Ethan, poor, trusting Ethan, replied, "Always. Come home safe." He never imagined what she was really wishing for. He never imagined that what she had really planned was not a business trip, but a one-way ticket to shattering his world. And that, my friends, is the end of Ethan and Clara's chapter. He didn't seek revenge. He sought consequence. He didn't burn down her world. He simply let her choices do the work for him. The dream he shattered wasn't Clara's life. It was the illusion she had built, both for him and for herself. So, What's the lesson here? First, your value is not in your partner's fidelity. Ethan's deepest wound wasn't that she cheated. It was that he had allowed his self-worth to be wrapped up in her truth. When she lied, he felt worthless. But he learned that betrayal is a reflection of the betrayer's character, not the victim's. Don't let someone else's poor choices define you. Second, prioritization is the ultimate act of love. Clara chose her ambition, her thrill, her now, over the foundation of her marriage and her future. If you continuously treat your relationship as a secondary priority, something you'll get to after the big promotion, after the big trip, you will eventually find that there's nothing left to come home to. Marriage is a garden. Neglect it, and it doesn't just wither, it becomes someone else's playground. And finally, the truest strength is in calm action. The human urge is to scream, to smash, to demand satisfaction. Ethan didn't give her the satisfaction of a fight. He gave her the crushing weight of reality. When someone disrespects you, your most powerful move is not emotional fury, but quiet, surgical self-respect. Walk away with your dignity intact and let the facts speak for themselves. That is a far more devastating blow to an ego than any shout or tear could ever be. Ethan lost a wife, but he found his backbone. Clara won a night of reckless passion, but lost the blueprint for the rest of her life. Choose wisely, because the quiet decisions you make today will echo loudly for years to come.